Alright you guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a deck profile of Gardevoir. More accurately, Gardevoir Gallade. There are Gallades in here as well. But this deck is people are very, trying to talk here, people are a big fan of Gardevoir. I don't know why. Like, Pokemon itself, like, people just love. So I feel like this is a very sought after deck archetype just because people like to play Gardevoir. And if you're in Standard right now, this Gardevoir GX is actually like really busted right now. So this deck is probably going to be one of the more popular options in U150. It is sort of I would describe it as kind of a toolboxy deck. A toolboxy stage 2. Gardevoir has a lot of tools in its line to do cool stuff with. So just like kind of bear that in mind, I guess. I don't really know where to start. I feel like I should just show you all of the options so you can kind of get an idea of what this deck tries to do. You notice there's a lot here. The unfortunate part is there are no like Sabrina's Kirlias or Misty's Raltses or something. There's no like, or Dark whatever. There's no like alternative naming, so you really only get to play the 4/4 line, so you really have to pick and choose what's important and what's not important. So we're going to take a look. You can play the level X. Level X does have a switching ability, but its big thing is Bring Down. It knocks out the lowest HP Pokemon on the field, so take cheap knockouts there. The GX provides Fairy Acceleration from the hand, and Infinite Force is one of the best attacks in U150. It just blows stuff up. This guy is definitely going to be your main attacker, and you want Gardevoir GX to carry you most of the way. If you can get at least like 5 prizes out of this, you're flat going to win easily. And it's not hard to get 5 prizes out of this because it's so quick. You get it out, you attach a couple energies, Infinite Force. If you get this Gardevoir out, it accelerates Psychic from the deck. And you can just start blowing things up with Infinite Force. Twilight GX is actually probably one of the worst GXs in U150 because of Trump Card, so that is almost never going to be used. You're going to want Infinite Force. As I said, this Gardevoir does have accelerates Psychic Energies from the deck, and it does have a similar attack to Infinite Force, but it's times 10 instead of times 30, so it's a lot weak. It's infinitely weaker. Haha. That was bad, but it does still can rack up damage if there's a lot of energy on this Gardevoir. Speaking of Gardevoir, this makes Psychic Energies doubled on Psychic Pokemon, so only these ones right here. I would recommend you can level X the Gardevoir GX right here, so you can get that double Psychic. If you wanted to, you could do this. You just get 100 less HP. Not recommended. But yes, it does double up. This Gardevoir is actually probably the one you're going to use the least amount of times. Gardevoir GX, it just has this Imprison marker. If this Gardevoir is inactive, you can put an Imprison marker on something, and that something can no longer use its Pokepower or Pokepotty. Super fun there. This Gallade delivers one-shots and has that premonition to stack your top of your deck. Works really well with Bill and Acrobike and that sort of thing. And then this Gallade does 20 for every energy on your side of the field. So if you have these 3 out right here, during the late game, you're going to take one-shots. So pretty much the idea is to use this early game for as many prizes as you can, and then use this 3 combo right here to try to take one-shots, peppering in this Gallade for other one-shots, and then this Gardevoir if you ever need to use Bring Down. Then this is just for anything that's like preventing, any pesky things that's preventing you from evolving and stuff. Let's say you're against Aerodactyl FO, and you get this out via Wally and Evo Soda and Spiritomb and that sort of thing. You can now Imprison marker the Aerodactyl to start getting the rest of your stuff set up. So yes, there are seven different Gardevoirs, 1 GX, 1 level X. It's kind of crazy. So we are going to play the max 4/4 here. We kind of have to. If we could play more, we would. And then you have your standard support Pokemon, all 10 of them. You're going to be running the 1/1 Claydol line, the 2/2 Porygon line, and 1 of each of these guys. There's no reason not to run any of these. I think they're super busted in any single deck. So there is that. Moving on. We're going to go to supporters now. I don't think there's a lot of interesting stuff in the supporters and items and stuff. I think there's a couple things, but it's not too mind-blowing in terms of what you think there is and what there isn't. So AZ, Baybase, Colress, Copycat, Guzma, Hex, Karina, all very standard looking stuff. Lookers instead of Sages, because there's a lot of stuff you don't want to discard, especially those Ralts and Kirlias. Lysander's trump card, Mario's Request for Recovery. You got that Mallow in there, and Collector to get you some Ralts. Juniper, Oak, Sycamore, Rockets, Rosies, Skyla, Teammates, Wally. All very standard stuff here. The only non-standard is your extra supporter of Lookers versus Sages. And we're going to go Lookers on this time. Because like I said, if you draw into like those Kirlias and Ralts, you're going to have to recover them now. And that's really all like you need to get those out. Ironically enough, there isn't much, bench space is not a big issue in this deck. Because you have your 7 basics from your standard stuff, like the Dunsparce and the Lapras and that sort of thing, and then 4 Ralts, and that's it. So you can play your 4 Ralts and your 2 support Pokemon, and boom, there's your 6 places there. So, ironically enough, deck space is not that big of an issue in this deck. Contrary to belief, there's a lot of Pokemon, but not a lot of issues for bench space. You played Battle Compressor. Now you play Battle Compressor. Let's see. There is a reason you play Battle Compressor specifically. I don't think it just got accidentally added in by chance. Let's see. I believe you play this so you can Battle Compressors some of the Gardevoirs and stuff that you don't need. For instance, if you're playing against a deck that doesn't have a lot of abilities, you can get rid of the EX. If you don't need the Gallade for whatever reason, you can get rid of that. There's a lot of different reasons because there are so many Stage 2s. Being able to Battle Compressor those is not a bad idea. Bill, Computer Search, Escape Rope, Evo Soda, and Posture X Invention. Item Finder, all standard stuff. Junk Arm, Level Ball, Luxury Ball. You do play a Max Potion. That's because you have acceleration both from the deck, from the hand, or from the deck in terms of Gardevoir Power Keepers, a hand from Gardevoir GX, and then you also have the double Gardevoir from Next Destinies. So since you have so much energy acceleration and attacking for low amounts of energies, Max Potion just makes sense. Helps keep that Gardevoir GX alive as long as possible. Misty's Wrath, Palpad, Pokemon Communication, Retriever for recovery options. Oak, you are playing a Letter because there is a split in terms of the energy types. So Letter just helps you just be a little bit more consistent with trying to get those fairies into your hand so you can Gardevoir GX them, or getting those Psychics because that's the one you need. Stage 2 deck, so we're going to play Rare Candy and Breeder. Rescue Stretcher, you'll notice there's Rescue Stretcher and Retriever here. It's because you always want to have as many Ralts on the field as possible. So when your Gardevoir gets knocked out, being able to grab a Ralts right back, or being able to Super Rod some back in, super nice to have a little bit extra recovery in a deck that has a 4-4-7 line, pretty much. Scoop Up, Surprise Time Machine, and Swoop Teleporter. Swoop Teleporter is staple, but Surprise is in this deck because there's so many Gardevoirs that you need for certain situations. It's really good to evolve the Gardevoir in your active into the Gardevoir EX, place that in Prison Marker, and then swoop it into something else and take a knockout. You can do some cool swings. Let's say you play like a Lysander on their Porygon, you evolve into the GX, you Prison Marker their Claydol, and then you swoop, you just took out both of their support Pokemon, essentially. So cool plays with Surprise Time Machine in this deck. Time Space Distortion, like I said, extra recovery for all those Ralts. Ultra Ball, Versus Seeker, and then Field Blower. So a little bit extra recovery because you play such a weird basic line. It's kind of funky how this deck works. Like, drawing into Ralts as early game is super important, whereas in most other decks, you could kind of like deal with it. Supporters, we're going to play Dimension Valley because there are Psychic Pokemon. You don't need this a whole lot of times. It doesn't reduce a whole bunch of things, but hey, it's in there because it's not the worst ever. And Broken Time Space. I don't think there's any other better stadium to play outside Dimension Valley. I think it's like, it's just kind of used as a counter stadium in this deck. But Broken Time Space, obviously super important with the heavy evolutions. EXP is sure to keep energy on the field because there is that powerful Storm Gallade, which does damage to everything on your field. And then Floatstone and Muscle Band, your 2 staples here. And then moving on to Elite 4, we're going to play all 4 of the Elite 4 plus Dowsing Machine. No reason not to play any of these. Dowsing Machine's your best A spec. Those are pretty standard looking stuff there. And then energies, we're only going to play the double colorless energy. You could consider playing stuff like Upper Energy or Boost Energy because both of the Gallades attack for DCE. And because DCE does increase damage, I wouldn't recommend playing Double Rainbow Energy, because Double Rainbow can't be attached to EXs or GXs, so it can't go on your Gardevoir GX, either of your Gallades, or your Imprison Marker one. Like, it just can't go on anything. So DCE, I consider upper or boost if you're looking at something like that. And then energies, we're going to be playing 9 Psychics and 5 Fairies. The reason being 5 more Psychics and Fairies is because Fairies are only good on the GX. And accelerating from your hand, a Fairy energy, not the best. You want to accelerate those Psychic energies from the grass. And then these are also the ones that get the double Psychic ability from the next Destiny's Gardevoir. So you're going to be playing a heavier count here. I think 5 is actually enough. I wouldn't dip down to 4. That seems kind of low. But 6 also seems kind of high because they only have 1 Pokemon. So I found 5 is a great number. 9 over here is fine. This energy count I don't think you should mess with too much. But yeah, that's Gardevoir, Gallade. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. It is a very funky deck because there are so many different options with what you attack with and all that fun stuff. So, but anyways, thanks for watching.